Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi. In this video, we'll be discussing about 100 important questions. Okay, so now you're thinking that this is 501. So basically, this is why 501 because we have already covered 500 person onto the channel. Okay, so if you haven't yet watch the lecture. Okay, and do like subscribe the channel also. Okay. Let's start from the question number first. Which HTML tag defines metadata about an HTML document? So basically we have a meta tag, okay, for doing this thing. Okay, after that we have which tag is used to define internal CSS that we have style tag, okay. Which tag is used to add JavaScript that we have script tag, okay. Which HTML attribute applies inline CSS that we have style tag. Which attribute specifies unique element ID that we have ID tag. Which attribute specifies CSS class tag. Which HTML tag defines emphasized text. EM tag we have option C is correct. Okay. Which HTML tag defines important text. Strong tag. Which HTML tag defines deleted text. Del tag. Which HTML tag defines inserted text. INS tag. Okay, which tag defines abbreviation that we have label we are tag. Okay, which tag defines address information that we have address tag. Okay, which HTML tag defines citation. Citation means what? Citation is basically site. Okay, which HTML tag defines keyboard input that we have KBT tag. Which HTML tag defines variable that we have var tag. Okay, which HTML tag defines computer code that we have a code tag. Which HTML tag preserves spaces and line break. Okay, so basically we have what? We have PRE tag. Okay, which is HTML tag defines inline quotation that we have Q tag. Which HTML tag defines long quotation that HTML tag defines text reference. We have video tag. Okay, which tag creates a clickable button that we have button tag. Okay, which input type creates hidden field that we have hidden tag. Okay, which input type creates box we have a checkbox. Okay, which input type creates radio button. So basically for doing this radio tag we have which input type creates submit button that we have submit tag. Which input type creates reset button we have a reset tag. Which attribute disables an element disable tag. Which attribute makes input mandatory required tag. Okay, which attribute display hint text placeholder tag. Okay, which attribute automatically focuses element that we have autofocus tag. Okay, which input type was select color type. Okay, which input type selects text date. So basically we have a date tag. Okay, so this is option C. Okay, correct. Which input type selects time. So basically we have a time tag. Okay, which input type selects week. So basically for doing this we have a week tag. Okay, which input type selects month tag. Which input type selects strings. So basically we have a slider tag. Okay, which input type allows email input. We have a email tag. Which input type allows URL input that we have URL tag. Okay, which input type allows phone number input that we have a phone TEL tag. Okay, which input type allows file upload that we have file tag. Okay, Which attribute allows multiple file selection that we have multiple tabs. Which tag defines drop-down list that we have select tag. Okay. Question number 43 we have which tag defines drop-down options. We have an option tag. Okay. Which tag groups drop-down options. OPT group. Okay. Which attribute allows multiple selections and drop-down that we have multiple tag. Okay. Which tag defines table that we have table tag. Okay. Which tag defines table group that we have TR tab. Which tab defines table cell that we have TD cell. Okay, TD tab. Okay. Question number 49 we have which tab defines table heading that we have TH tab. Okay. So which attribute merge column. Okay. So basically for merging column we have for span. Which attribute merge rows and not table. We have a row span. Okay. Which HTML tab defines unordered list. We have UI tab. Okay. Which HTML tag defines order list, we have OL tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines list item that we have li tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines description list DL tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines terms and description list that we have DD tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines description details, we have a DD tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines images that we have what IMG tag. Okay. Which attribute is specify image source, for doing this we have a slash to tag. Which attribute specifies alternative text for images. We have alt tag. Which HTML tag creates hyperlink. We have a tag. Okay. Which attribute specifies hyperlink destination. HRE tab. We have which attribute opens link in new browser tab. Target blank tab. Which HTML tag defines paragraph. We have a p tag. Okay. Which HTML tag inserts line break that we have a break via tag. Okay. Which HTML tag inserts horizontal line that we have was HR tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines bold text that we have box. Which HTML tag defines italic text that we have box. EM or I tag. EM for emphasis. Which HTML tag underlines text that we have U tag. Which HTML tag highlight text mark tag we have. Which HTML tag defines superscript tag text we have SUP tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines subscript text sub tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines a small text, we have a small tag. Which HTML tag preserves formatting and spaces that we have a spree tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines computer codes that we have code. Okay. Which HTML tag defines variable text, we have what, we have var tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines keyboard input. So basically what we have a keyboard tab. Okay. Which HTML tag defines sample output, we have a SAM tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines quotation, we have a Q tag. Which HTML tag defines long quotation, for doing this we have a block quote tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines abbreviation, we have a TWR tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines address information, that we have address tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines citation, we have site tag. Okay. So which HTML tag defines deleted text. So doing this we have a del tag. Which HTML tag defines inserted text. So doing this we have a MS tag. Okay. Which HTML tag defines form. So for doing this we have a form tag. Okay. Which attribute defines forms in the environment. Action tag. Which attribute defines HTTP method for form, we have a method. Okay. Which input type hides typed character. For doing this we have a password tag. Okay. Which input type allows numeric input, that we have number tag. Okay. Which input type allows date input, that for doing this we have a date tag. Which input type allows type and time input. For doing this we have a T tag. C tag, that is for time tag. Okay. Which input type uploads file, that we have what, that we have file tag. Okay. Which input type allows email input, that's called email tag. Okay. So which input type allows URL input, so we have a URL tag. Okay. Which input type allows phone number input, that we have tel tag. Okay. Which input type creates checkboxes, we have a blue tag. Which input type create radio buttons, so for doing this we have an option tag. Okay. Radio tag. Which input type creates sliders. So for doing this, we have a stack, which input type selects color. So basically, we have a color type. Okay. So we have done with 100 button questions in this video. So thank you so much for watching this lecture, and a lot of questions are coming soon. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much all the best for your examination if it is coming. And we'll be conducting top 100 important questions in upcoming videos. So yeah, that's all in this lecture. Thank you so much and all the best if your examination is done. Okay, thank you.